Recognize this? This is my late model John Deere 445 garden tractor that I picked up last fall. You can see a video of when I got it. I've been doing a lot of work to it lately, and here's an update video. Let's get the boring stuff out of the way first. The mowing deck is trashed, so I sold the gearbox off of it because buying a gauge wheel and a mandrel and everything was going to cost too much. I got a decent price for the gearbox and drive shaft, and I have a few spare parts left on it that I can use. The blade has been awesome. I was using it with my 425 during the winter, pushing manure and snow, and the quick hitch still needs to be repaired. It's got a leaking hose, but I think I'm going to take care of that tomorrow so I can have at least one functioning implement for this tractor. The cab, I honestly still don't know if it's worth it to me to fix it. So it's just kind of sitting here. I haven't done anything with it. The windshield is going to be the hardest part to replace because that's going to cost a lot of money to make. And the rest of it, I really don't know what it's worth because it's in such rough shape and it's going to need all new windows all the way around. So I'm just kind of letting it sit here, and I might sell it next winter, to be honest. So now let's get to the tractor itself. Last fall, basically all I did was swap the tires out, take the cab off, and replace the radiator with one that I had from a parts machine just to kind of get it working. I also discovered last fall that it had a really big leak from the water pump gasket area, which was really making it impossible to use. And so I parked it with the intention of fixing it, and then a semester of school took the motivation right away from me. I got back to it about 2 days ago, and the first thing I did was remove all of the metal at the front, the grill support, everything, and tear into the water pump and replace not only the water pump itself with a spare unit that I had lying around, but also the gaskets and seals and everything. So just wanted to make sure that that was good. The next thing I did was actually tear the motor right out of the tractor because the mounts were broken off at the back here, and had my dad weld the motor mounts back together for me, and it did quite a good job. Basically, after the motor mounts broke at the back, they had pieces of steel plate lying across the frame channels to support the back of the motor, and that's not optimal for vibration isolation and everything. So it's nice to have the motor mounts back together and functioning, although I did kind of strip one of the screws, so we'll see how they hold. I was going to replace the valve cover gaskets just as a precaution, but I see they've been gooped with like liquid gasket maker or something, so they were sticky, they wouldn't come off, and so I didn't really want to touch them. The other thing I did was replace the drive shaft coupling with a brand new one. They get brittle and crack, and that is of course no good really. So the coupler has been replaced with a brand new, very malleable piece of rubber. I was having some issues with the fuel injection system as well, and I traced it to that relay, which is the fuel injection relay. It had just failed and it wasn't actuating, and so I replaced the relay and it fired right up. I changed the oil and filter on the transmission as well because I did not know the state of the oil or filter. The filter actually looked rusty, so it shows you how long it's been since that was probably changed. The engine oil still looks okay, it's very clean, and so I'll probably just keep it in there and keep using it until winter if I change it down to 530 or something like that. But after those repairs, the tractor seemed to really kind of come to life. Also greased everything for that matter, because I don't think it had been greased in hundreds and hundreds of hours. And after mowing with it, using the deck off of my 425, it's still got a few lingering issues here and there. This radiator leaks, and so I'll have to take that in and get it resealed. And the lifters are a little noisy, and the side panels don't even attach anymore. All the attachment points are broken, so I'm going to need to figure out a way to reattach the side panels and the grill for that matter. But the tractor itself is actually performing really well, and it's running right now. It has tons of power on 3-year-old gas, so I'll just keep burning through it. Oh, and it's also stupidly fuel efficient compared to the 425s. Now I'll start it up and show you guys the operation. So warm start. Not a single trace of smoke out of that exhaust pipe. This thing, 2,500 hours, does not burn oil. Once I added oil, the transaxle really quieted down too. I guess they just don't like being run low on oil. And aside from the radiator leak, the leaking quick hitch hose, and the fact that this thing currently has no brakes, which I also forgot to mention earlier, it's really working its way towards a totally functional, turnkey, reliable tractor that I'll probably keep around for the summer before I sell it with the snow blade in the winter.